We are live once again. Session, I believe this is 4 of 6. Somebody's probably going to have to check my math. It may be 4 of 5. It is 4 of 5 as I take a quick look. This session specifically about designing digital learning environments for all with our good friends Jeremy and Sarah from Shasta County Office of Education. Jeremy, the Director of Specialized Student Support, and Sarah, the Technology Coordinator there at Shasta. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. As always, do all the things on all the Facebook, Twitter, social media spaces, YouTube, LinkedIn. We are promoting the MTSS today, which is California's Professional Learning Institutes, that will be happening on July 20th through the 22nd virtually, as hosted by the Orange County Department of Ed and some other partners there. So I will actually throw that link in the chat below. Jeremy has resources here with a bit.ly link that I'm also going to be sharing in the chat and comment section below. But today is all about California and the MTSS Digital Learning Showcase, which is really designed to amplify the stories of educators leveraging Canvas LMS to support high-quality MTSS. And what better way to talk about that than designing for learning and designing for all here with our Shasta County Office of Education representatives. Jeremy, Sarah, welcome.
Thank you so much. We are just totally honored to be here today. Really excited to be talking about, universal design for learning, but also with a mental health spin going on here. So without further ado, we'll jump right into it. As mentioned, I am Jeremy Sawtell from the Shasta County Office of Education, the Director of Specialized Student Support, really within the world of inclusive practices, universal design for learning, mental health, and systems improvement. And I will let Sarah introduce herself.
Thank you so much. So excited to be here with you guys today. My name is Sarah Kolbeck, and I am Jeremy's counterpart today in this amazing webinar with Canvas and California MTSS. So thank you for being here, and we're excited to get going.
So looking through, we have a few goals for today. And so I'll kind of give an overview and then have Sarah jump into the engagement, representation, action, and expression. But really our goal here is to provide insight and examples to support the why, what, and how of digital learning.
Awesome. Thanks, Jeremy. So yeah, we do have some goals for our time together today. Want to make it worth everyone's while and be able to cram a whole bunch of information into a short amount of time. So we will be looking at topics about providing different types of engagement tools with asynchronous learning through our Canvas courses that we have created here, as well as coached other teachers within our organization about how to roll out those engaging courses, and then representing different options for learning, the universal design, different methods for your students, whether they're adults taking PD or students in the classroom, different tools for them to learn, and then action and expression options for participants to show how they learn. So different discussions, make sure those Q&As are in there, and then of course handing in assignments. So we are excited to roll these out.
And just so that if you're not too familiar with universal design for learning, the stars here are really directly from our friends at CAST. We absolutely love this framework. We use it well within our organization. A lot of our professional development is housed within the universal design for learning framework. So the stars that you see here are really where we've pulled information for this session today. Canvas has so many phenomenal tools built directly into this, in the learning management platform. So it's pretty easy to pull, but again, within the constraints of time today, the yellow stars are really where we've pulled from CAST to kind of talk about what we've done within this. Starting out though, always in education and leadership and organizations, it's always about the why. So as with engagement, that's where we are starting. And so 3 questions to really consider when we're starting out with engagement is, what is the purpose of our course? is the goal clear to us and to our participants, and are the activities tied to the goal? So as we're developing different courses, whether that is for adults, whether it is for younger students, it's, do we know why we're creating this? Do we have that really explained well to the participants in our course? And are the activities tied to those goals? So really coming back to our why, really coming back to that sense of engagement and figuring out what can we do to really tie in and to stay focused within that lane of what's the purpose behind this course. So a bit more into that is, we have that human component. So do the participants know who built that course? Who's going to be reviewing their progress? Is there a bio? Is there some way for them to interact with the instructor? That we are motivated by human connection, and we know even within Canvas, asynchronous learning, there are different ways that we can be building in that personal touch, building in that human connection. And is there an opportunity to build a community? I mean, with these online platforms, we can see just at a global level that we can be interacting, we can be sharing in life experiences and stories and our learning in just such a large setting. And so that concept of engagement and the why, looking at some of the tools we've used, whether it's Meet Your Instructor, just having a course Q&A, but kind of in that live where you can go back and use it as a forum, have other participants share their information, and just having whatever you can to say, here's who I am, here's who's going to be kind of reviewing what you're completing, and saying, hey, I'm here for you, I'm here to answer questions. And then if not, what can you do in an asynchronous format to where if it is self-paced, that they at least know who's designed it and what was their meaning behind designing this course. There's a few pieces here. Do you know your participants? Is there a way for you to be getting feedback? And we'll touch a little bit more on the feedback toward the end of this. But if we don't consider others as we're developing our courses, as we're developing asynchronous learning, then we really are designing for within our own learning style, our own ability, and our own life experiences. So it's not taking into account the billions of people on the planet and all of their unique learning styles, but it is seeing what can we do to provide options? How can I kind of have that umbrella lens? And that's why we love MTSS. We have the umbrellas, we have different supports, we have a larger view for all of these things. But for example, like a busy parent who prefers listening instead of reading, can we have different options built in? Does it have to be one way to complete everything? Or can we build out engagement and build into those different learning styles? And remember that not every virtual participant is an overly enthusiastic version of yourself. So I've caught myself, oh, I would absolutely love this activity. I think this would be great, but that's me. And I'm the one making this. And we're designing this for people to learn, not for me to be able to teach. And that's something that we've kind of had to grow through within our organization, and just different things of, as we're developing this, that especially asynchronously, we do not know who's going to be taking this course. We don't know who's going to be attending our professional development, but the goal is to teach them and not for us to just be teaching. So really having that lens of what can we do to develop something, to get to know participants, so that we have those stakeholders, so that we understand their stories, and we can start to kind of build in some different options to really elevate their thinking and to get them to better engage. Another huge component that we really, especially moving into this year, is our social emotional learning strategies and mental health, a core part of every course. As you see on the left there, step 5, even if you drop in like, hey, step 5 of these assignments or this task, take a deep breath, take a break. How much water have you had? When you're ready, click next. Or on the right side here, you can have different things listed out, but why not throw in something to say, hey, here's some different ways for you to self-care. Are you taking care of yourself? If you're working on this at home, you've got a lot of different things that you could be doing. Check in with yourself. Are you giving it your all right now? Are you at your best capacity to be completing this? And if you're not, just check in, take a break, do what you need to do. And we are all about mental health and just really taking care of ourselves, self-care, and making sure that when we are completing things, that we're in the best space to be doing that, and really just using this as an opportunity to train not just with the topic that we're really focusing on, but how do we best use this as a way to share more about self-care, to share more about development, about how our brains work. We can do this just with a few clicks of a button, some screenshots, different things. So it's just a phenomenal opportunity to do more than just our typical focus on the content and kind of move through whether it's a certification or whatever that is. What can we embed in there to do more? And again, just a couple other screenshots here, whether it's gratitude, we know the importance of gratitude. We can throw these things in and say, hey, what's everybody grateful for? Why not have a discussion about gratitude? We can still have something that is really critical for development or certification or something that really does need to be learned and focused and shown mastery of. But we can also say, hey, we are all human here. What's our experience? What's good out there? And then some just different group discussions, coming back to community, coming back to mental health, and just sharing different stories and different ideas. We learn so much from other people, and having asynchronous discussion boards or just different sense of community can do so much to really amplify that. And that's just something we love about this platform. So we're going to move right into the what. And the what is when we are presenting that information. If I have some ideas or concepts that I need them to learn, what are some different ways that I can be rolling that out? What are some of these different tools that I could be trying so that we're not just saying one way to move things forward? So a couple questions to consider here is, how do we change the way we deliver information for our participants? And those of you who've been in the classroom, are we reinventing packets? Are we reinventing, go through this whole packet and turn it in and then you're done kind of checklist? Or are we doing something that we can really see more through? Are we displaying information? Does it reach more than one learning style when we display that information? And are there options for what participants can choose to learn about? So there's not one way to teach and present these things. It's just kind of getting that creative juice flowing and saying, well, I could show a video, they could read something. We can have different videos, and really what other tools can we choose? And I'm going to have Sarah jump straight into this as some of the different things that Canvas has built in, or some different strategies.
Awesome. Thanks, Jeremy. Yeah, so moving into the kind of the nuts and bolts, the what of our Canvas courses and modules when we're giving out that information and asking for assignments to be completed by our students. Again, whether they're adult professional development learners, or whether these are students who are learning either asynchronously or in a classroom environment. So just some things that you want to make sure that you offer as options are either screencasts. Canvas has some great tools, amazing tools for recording and then also embedding YouTube videos. So this is an example here that we're seeing of some professional development on student engagement tools. So we're looking at Flipgrid and Kahoot, who have some amazing 30-second videos from YouTube. So whether, it's doing a screencast within Screencastify or the Canvas studio of showing how to do these things, or just embedding in that rich content editor these YouTube videos that are kind of short and sweet, and asking the students if they prefer to look at them through YouTube, which is going to have closed captioning and be accessible for all. And then what we do also in our courses is just outline an overview of the assignment and each module. So there'll be a lot of variety of different types of content. So whether it's that YouTube video, that screencast of the teacher showing how to do something on their screen, or go check out this blog post. You just want to be sure that you have all the different elements in there for the students to be able to learn. And then having something, again, watch this, so this is a screencast of me, the teacher, showing the students how this tool works.
Here we go. And with that, talking about not only are we presenting things in different ways, but are we looking at this in a way where the participants are able to really dive in and show their learning. So not only are they receiving the information in different ways or having different options for how they're hearing things or how they're interacting with things, but that they can interact in different ways, that they have an option to choose what learning modality works best for them, and that they can move through different tasks And within that action and expression column on the UDL framework, it is that can participants share their knowledge in a way that works for them? And is variability embraced, or do we choose logistics over engagement? And this is a tough question because it is really difficult to say, well, I can't have too many things as a teacher. How am I going to grade 9 different ways or 9 different things that have been submitted to me? And that's where you can say kind of options. You can build rubrics. You can come up with more narrow constraints for yourself so that you do have the ability to grade and to review the work that's submitted, but also building in some different ways for students to be able to complete that. And Sarah's got some great tips for us here. As you can see, one of the things I love that she's done here is the discover, discuss, and demonstrate. Yeah, it's, hey, I get to discover, I get to discuss this, and then I'm going to demonstrate my thinking. It's just different ways that we can frame things and simple ways to engage our participants and our learners. And just really within even asynchronous modules, you can provide so many different ways for participants to finish a task or move forward with an assignment. So I'll have Sarah jump in and talk a little bit more about that.
Awesome, thank you. So yep, we have a couple screenshots here of some modules with just an overview. So having that overview page so the student knows kind of what they're in for, what some expectations are. But then as Jeremy said, we kind of divided up between discovering, discussing, and then demonstrating, no matter how you're asking them to do that, that they have several options to demonstrate. And then what's the word I'm looking for? The discussion. Thank you. I usually have a Q&A. So there's a Q&A for the whole course typically, so that a student can ask questions, the teacher can respond. You know, you never know if a student in that class has the same question, but the discussions within Canvas are amazing. It's basically an online chat group within your course, and students can post questions, the teachers can answer like a Q&A, but you're asking for the students' input on what they found interesting in that module or what they used it for within their classroom. In this case, we're working with adult PD, learning about engaging with student engagement. So, you know, just having that assignment overview with the different types of things that they can explore, and then the overview with each module.
And we cannot stress enough, as we're developing our courses, as we're really looking at coming back to what we've talked about before, of if I'm in a position to be creating a module, if I'm in a position to say, hey, I feel like I'm a content expert in this, I want to teach others, I want to teach the world on this topic, I want to use all of these resources, it is so critical to have that sense of vulnerability. And to ask the questions, and more than just the end of the course. I mean, it's great at the very end to say, hey, can I have feedback? What's the survey? To say, how did that go for you? Or whatever it was that you want to ask at the very end. But it's always an opportunity throughout the course to check in and say, hey, what worked during that activity? What didn't work? What would you like to see more of? What would you like to see less of? There's just different ways that you can frame that. It comes back to design thinking and just kind of trial and test, and not having it be really a solidified course, having this something that can really adapt and not reinvent every time. But as you're getting participant feedback, we can improve. We can look to say, well, I've heard from 10 different people, and there's just some different things that I feel that might be beneficial as we move forward, and just going in and adjusting that and going into your edit tool and just tweaking a few things so that you are capturing more learning modalities, or you are really embracing that variability and hearing from your participants. So the message really is just not at the end of the course, but throughout. Can you be asking questions and having that stance of vulnerability to say, hey, this is a work in progress, and I designed this for you, the participant. I designed this for you, the teacher who wants to learn more. And when you have that frame, when you have that lens, and when you're really open about that, it does provide such an opportunity for that honest feedback to come through and to say, hey, yeah, this was great. do you think that it would be possible to do it this way? And we've just had some great conversations as we do test runs, or we just look at this on a smaller scale. But it is something as we gain more participants to be just asking about really, how has that gone? How was that activity? Can I hear from you? Can I hear what works for you, so that you can use that and keep that in your toolkit, so that as you develop future courses, you've got their voice and you've got them for something that they can use and feel comfortable with as they continue to learn and you continue to develop. So I love the 3 arrows there: be vulnerable, ask questions. I'm going to hand this off to Sarah. We thank you so much for tuning in, and she's got our contact information if you'd like to discuss further with us or know more.
Awesome, guys. Thank you so much for presenting and sharing your expertise today on our Canvas live streams, and as we promote the MTSS and everything that's exciting happening in California. Sarah, Jeremy, fantastic session. Those of you that are looking to get a hold of them, their emails are available here. We've shared the slide deck. We shared the MTSS Canvas registration for that California MTSS Professional Learning Institute. We are down to our final session. Man, it feels like yesterday when we started this thing early this morning, but we are down to our final session coming up at the top of the hour. Stay tuned for student-led Canvas courses. We saved this one for last, designing for students by students. I can't wait to see what Tara has in store for us in that session. So stay tuned. Again, like, share, retweet, all of the things to make sure your administrators and all those in charge of your Canvas instance get to see these types of fantastic sessions led by our California educators. Guys, thanks again so much. Comments coming in from YouTube. Thank you for sharing such great information, your expertise from Rebecca. They're laughing. That must be, it might be Jeremy's mom chiming in to the live stream.
Thank you so much, Eddie. We really appreciate the opportunity. And yeah, anytime you guys need us, you know where to find us here. So happy to help.
Absolutely. Thanks again, guys.
Thank you.